Happy Friday, I'm Brian and welcome to Brian Hanner Coaching. This is Wisdom for the Weekend. This month I'm going to explore the idea of failure. What does failure mean and why is it so challenging for so many of us to accept failure as part of a learning process rather than an end result in itself, sometimes a crippling end result. So this week I have more questions than answers, and I'll explore this as the month goes on. At some point in our lives, we learned that failure is a bad thing. If we have a toddler who's learning to walk, there are lots of missteps, there are lots of falling over. Generally, we don't scold the child for falling down. We simply help them back up and encourage them along, even to the point where the parents break out the phone and take the video of those precious first steps. So at what point do we decide that simply falling short of a goal today is a failure? Because for the toddler, simply falling down in those first steps is just part of a learning process. It's a learning process of learning how to balance on 2 feet, shifting the balance side to side, moving one foot in front of the other, and so on. But for some reason, at some point, we are taught, or we decide, or some combination of both, that falling short of the goal along the way to that goal means that we've failed, that we should somehow give up because we can't do this thing, rather than settling in for the long haul to figure out how to keep moving, figure out how to keep falling down and literally picking ourselves back up as we move toward the goal. So what I have for you this week is, do you remember when failure became a bad thing? And you may not, and that's fine, but just to reflect on when did achieving something no longer be the playful process of a child, but something to be taken so seriously that often we quit the endeavor ahead of us. And I'll explore this as we go through the month. You can read my blog about failure at bhanner.com. You can catch me on social media at bhannercoaching. I'd love to have a conversation about failure. And here's your question to ponder. When did you learn that failure was a bad thing? And is it a bad thing? I'll see you next Friday.